All right. First impression, this already feels different from a typical language app. Clean design, simple layout, nothing overwhelming. So this is the main speaking hub inside XaiTok. And I can already tell the focus here is conversation, not memorizing random vocabulary, not endless grammar drills, actual speaking. A lot of people understand a language, but freeze the moment they need to respond in real life. That is the gap this app is trying to solve. Okay, this part is really interesting. This is the real-life conversation mode. You are not just repeating phrases, you are reacting in live situations, naturally. And notice how quickly the conversation flows. That matters. Because real conversations do not wait for perfect grammar. They move fast. So instead of mentally translating every sentence, you start training your brain to respond naturally. The captions and pronunciation support help keep the conversation moving without destroying confidence. That balance is important because most people do not struggle with understanding. They struggle with hesitation. And honestly, the interaction feels natural. It feels more like speaking with a patient tutor than using software. You are practicing listening, reaction speed, pronunciation, confidence, all at the same time. And that kind of practice transfers into real life much faster. I also like how the app separates different speaking modes clearly. So depending on your confidence level, you can choose more guidance or more natural conversation flow. Even the personalities feel different here. Different pacing, different tones, different energy. And honestly, that is smart, because real conversations are never identical. The more realistic the practice feels, the easier conversations become outside the app. The overall design still feels very focused. Nothing distracting, nothing cluttered. Everything keeps pointing back to one goal, helping people speak confidently. All right, now this freestyle mode feels much more open. This is where users can casually practice without feeling locked into strict lessons. And honestly, this is where fluency really develops. You stop rehearsing perfect sentences and start thinking naturally. I also like that mistakes are not treated like failures here. The conversation keeps flowing, which makes speaking practice feel less stressful. What I keep noticing throughout the app is how everything is designed around building confidence, step by step. Now this guided mode feels more structured, more support, more direction, perfect for beginners or people who get nervous speaking. But what I like is that it still feels conversational. The corrections are subtle. The guidance does not constantly interrupt the flow. And that matters because too many interruptions make people afraid to speak. This feels much more encouraging. Okay, this story mode is actually really clever. Instead of random disconnected phrases, the app teaches through stories and conversation flow. And stories naturally keep people emotionally engaged. You remember context better. You remember emotion better. You remember conversation flow better. It also makes learning feel less like studying and more like entertainment. There are also a lot of customization options throughout the app. Different languages, different preferences, different learning styles. But even with all the features, the interface still feels simple, which is important because users should spend their energy speaking, not figuring out complicated menus. Right. This is probably the most impressive part of the app. Live conversation mode. Fast responses, natural pacing, continuous interaction, and honestly, that timing changes everything. Because fluent speaking is not just knowing words. It is being able to respond naturally without overthinking. You can literally feel how this trains users to stop mentally translating every sentence before speaking. The conversation keeps moving naturally, which builds comfort and reaction confidence over time. And that is what most language learners are actually missing. Not more vocabulary, not more grammar drills, real speaking practice. This feels useful for students, professionals, travelers, interviews, workplace communication. Honestly, anyone who understands a language but struggles speaking confidently in real situations. XaiTok is not just teaching language, it is training real conversation confidence.